at you today in Clash Royale, kinda sorta. Gonna play some great matches in the background of this video, but I wanted to kind of connect with you guys on a one-on-one basis. I have no script. I really don't even have bullet points on what I want to talk about, and YouTube being 101 is always know what you want to talk about. I guess I have kind of an idea, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't make a video like this. But frankly, I've kind of fallen off, right? I've shared a lot of good news throughout the years, historically, here on the channel with you guys. And I've shared a lot of tough times as well. Like, I'm thinking way back. I look at some of my Beyond the Mic videos that I put out, God, years and years and years and years ago. And part of me's, you know, I feel so conflicted. Number one is I feel like, wow, if you don't know what those are, it's like videos that I recorded where I just shared like super intimate things in my life, essentially, you know, TLDR on it. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I said all that. Just threw that out there on the internet, right? Now I've grown into a little bit more of a private person than I used to be. However, I feel for myself back then, and I see where I was in my life journey, you know, then, and I looked at where I am now, and in a lot of ways, I'm such a different person. In a lot of ways, I'm the same person as well. Anyway, I say all that to say this. It struck me that I don't have that many one-on-one chats with you guys about non-Clash Royale stuff, and I miss that. I really do, and I miss reading the comments on videos like this as well. So if you're not into that kind of thing, first of all, if you're here to just only see Clash Royale, probably should click off the video. It's not going to be entertaining for you, okay? Number two is I've fallen off. More recently, I would say the last year or so. So the whole thought behind making a video like this is to open up and share a little bit about what I've been going through a little bit and where I am now. But moreover than that, it's to really say something that might resonate with other people who are going through a tough time, or you know, something everybody's going to go through really tough times. Life is hard no matter who you are. It really is. And obviously a lot of us have it worse than others, but it's not a competition, right? It's just, it can be a struggle out there. You know, it really can. And sometimes it feels like this world is so cold, such a cold place where everybody's always, at least in my life, what I see on a daily basis, it's always at each other's throats, always being so negative. And it's so much like, not to sound all corny and cheesy about it, but it's so much easier to hate on stuff out there, right? It's so much easier to criticize things, and it's so much more difficult, and in my opinion, brave or admirable is probably a better word, to actually show love, right? And actually empathize with people and understand that everybody is coming from a different place in life, you know? So to me, that's like the biggest thing I want to instill in my son, and you know, the message that I want to share with the world. You know, it's something that's really important to me. But anyway, going back, rewinding about 2016, I guess. Rewinding back into 2016 is when I went full-time, very beginning of 2016, I went full-time YouTube. Shortly thereafter, I started a company, right? We've grown so much. We're a talent agency, and we also do events and productions and stuff like that. It's called Aftershock Media Group, amg.gg, if you want to check us out. I love that team. The bad thing about the company is, the only bad thing for me, is it's all remote. We have 70 employees, but we all work remotely. So not just the company AMG, but also COVID, you know? So picture it this way. I went from seeing 1,000 different people a day, you know, maybe 100 or two, you know, felt like 1,000 in my other career in the distant past, right? And now I see 0 people every day, except for the gym, but I don't talk to anybody. I think the more accurate thing is talking. I don't talk to adults. Some of you might know, some of you might not know. I get along just fine with my son's mother, but we actually split up when he was about 1 or maybe going on 2 years old. So it's been years since I've had another adult. I live by myself. I work from home, and it's been like in 2016, 2017, even 2018. I didn't really notice anything, you know. I actually really enjoyed it. Really, it was fun, you know. And this might be a word of caution maybe to any of you out there who changed to remote during COVID. I didn't see the effects until years on my psychological, on my mental, right? But not seeing people for so long it really started to have a profound impact on my mental acuity, and not just that, but my relationships, I think is a more appropriate way of saying it. And dude, I found myself, I dated a lot, in the beginning of being single, I got on the dating apps and stuff like that. And, I've always never been afraid to put myself out there. I'm a pretty extroverted individual outside, not afraid to talk to people, but I just became an absolute different person. I couldn't be the partner that I ought to be, right? That I want to be, and it's not just about relationships in terms of romantic relationships, about all my relationships. I started distancing myself from my family, aside my son, and I don't really talk that much to my family anymore, I don't respond to text messages. I don't return calls, and this happened again after like 5 years. So when COVID happened, it really just expounded all of these issues that I was experiencing. So like what I do every day is listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts, hit the gym, work, spend time with my son. Repeat, 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 And also I lost my brother, in 2016. And a lot of you guys probably know about that if you watch my previous behind the mic videos. I lost my mom prior to that. And those losses really impacted me to where I wanted to distract myself constantly. I did so through work, and I also kind of numbed it with edibles, with like edible marijuana, which is legal where I live, so no big deal. But I became kind of dependent, I would say, on a number of different things. Not just, I'm not blaming it. First of all, like I'm not like anti marijuana or anything like that. But for me, over the course of years and years and years and years and years of doing it every single night, it really, there was a fog over my mental, and that compounded with so many different things, right? It's not just one thing, but all of these things kind of just added up to, I went through spurts, and I shared them with you guys, right? I went through spurts of really being on it, like, okay, I'm like, just being the person I want to be, essentially, right? Things like meditation, things like learning piano and stuff like that. So I had some blips on the proverbial radar in terms of good things. And my relationship with my son is so freaking strong, because you got to understand where I'm coming from. He is like the only person that I see on a daily basis, I talk to, I have like close friends, have a couple best friends. One of them is a co-founder of my company, and one of them is like a brother to me that, we go way, way back, but we mainly just, video call or talk on the phone. We don't actually see each other. And through time, it's become a little bit less and less as well. And, I do talk to individuals, but it's all video calls, and you can't even make eye contact with people, you don't know where they're looking, and they don't know where you're looking. So it all adds up. So I started to fall off, man. I started to get in a real deep depression. And it sucks. I felt so guilty to even say that to people, because here I am, just somebody who has a lot, like I don't want to like touch on anything that's, I just want everybody to love everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here to like make any huge like political statements. People get triggered by everything nowadays, but I'll just say it. I'm like this, I grew up kind of, I wouldn't say poor, but certainly kind of poor. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that, right? Like I didn't get toys or anything like that outside of like holidays, and my parents had trouble like paying the rent, and then I grew up to see, a significant amount of success financially, and I thought that would really change my life, honestly. And it did in a lot of ways, but it also wasn't the magic, pill that I thought it would be necessarily. And so anyway, I say all that to say that I'm really fortunate, I'm really fortunate in life, I don't have to worry about discrimination. I'm a straight white male, I don't have to worry about a lot of things that a lot of people do out there. So because of that, privilege, if you will, that I don't have to worry about those things in my life, it's made me feel a tremendous amount of guilt for complaining or opening up, I should say, about these things, not just to you guys, but to anybody, to say them out loud, right? And but I think it's also good to talk about these things, I think, hopefully. So anyway, where I'm at right now, or last point on all this, is I fell into that deep depression. I started seeing a therapist. I started seeing a really, really good psychiatrist and psychologist, and kind of working through all this stuff. I'm not like I'm not like super messed up. I can function, but I started feeling this feeling, and maybe some of you guys can relate to it. But for the first time, at the age of like 38 or something, I started feeling like, dude, this is not normal how I feel. Like this is dark and deep and heavy, heavy. Despair is the word for it. Better than depression for me. For no reason. I couldn't put my finger on why. And anyway, so this is the culmination of personal losses and tragedies, isolation, and a lot of different things. After kind of this all the last like year or two. So I feel like I'm doing a lot better now. But I'm just starting this journey, or restarting this journey, I guess, because I've tried so many different times to do this, and half the time is when I give you guys these little anecdotes about how to improve your life, or how to improve your well-being, I should say. I'm talking to myself too, I'm talking to myself as well, and yeah, so that's just something that I tend to do here on the channel. So if you ever hear that in the future, it's probably a message to you guys legitimately, but also a little bit of a reminder to myself. I think I shared this at Kyrgyzstan video. Love that YouTube channel. I'll link it for you guys in the description as well. I think I shared this a while ago, but they had a video that they put out. I think it's called like Change Your Life One Small Step at a Time or something like that. It's something that I think that we all kind of know intuitively already. It's nothing that you haven't heard before. However, it's something that was a great reminder to me that I don't need to change everything about myself, or I don't need to address everything that I want to change about myself immediately. I don't need to make big sweeping changes. The power of small, incremental, positive changes to your routine and your daily habit can have an incredible compounding effect, kind of like compounding interest in, investments, right? It's like a magic. It's magic. It really is. And I've really started to embrace that. Historically, I've done it a few times, things like stoicism, things like, philosophy. I really like that stuff, and I know it's not like super popular topics, but that's just the person I am, and so I've tried to really embrace that, and boy, I feel so much better. I've taken a little break from edibles, and just to kind of, I want to be able to actually find my words and articulate, and when you do something every night like that, again, I'm not here to get in a debate about anything like that or anything. I'm just telling you my experience, right? I'm not trying to make some grand statements here. But you end up getting a little bit, I don't know. I felt like I was blunted, what I'm saying? Like my mental was a little bit blunted, and I didn't notice that for a long time. That and the isolation combined, and not dealing with some of the the tragedies that I've had in my life, all of that kind of compounded to be a not a great spot. And I bled over into YouTube, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm sure it's not a surprise to any of you guys watching. I've kind of been on cruise control on YouTube for a while now. I used to, back in the day, I'm talking about back in Clash of Clans when I started this YouTube channel in 2014. Man, I was so involved with the community. I was one of those guys, it was line chat back in the day. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But now I guess it would be, Discord or whatever. But I was super involved in the community. Even in the beginning of Clash Royale, I was doing community events. I was talking to pros every day. I was, I had a clan. I had a clan family with 1,000 players that we managed and ran, and it was fun. I loved it, But now I don't really talk to anybody. It's crazy, and that's my own choosing, I don't respond to a lot of DMs, not because I don't like anybody, but because of these issues that I've already, spent 15 minutes or whatever rambling about to you guys, right? So I knew a change had to take place. So where I'm at right now is through a series of these small positive changes to my life, I'm finally at a place where I'm comfortable at least opening up and kind of talking to you guys about this kind of stuff, and I hadn't been there for a long, long time. But overall, guys, I think that my main point here is that I'm doing a lot better, but man, I already feel better, honestly. I already feel better. Just like saying this, I don't know how it will be received, but I personally feel good just kind of getting this off my chest, because again, like I touched on there, it's affected my channel, man. Like I haven't been putting in full effort. Not only did I remove myself from the community, but I also haven't been as vigilant, reading comments, engaging with you guys. I never look at my Discord server. if I'm not responding to texts from my aunts and uncles and family and stuff, then I'm not going to be. I'm also not chatting with you guys as much as I should be. And I'm kind of losing touch, honestly, guys. Kind of losing touch with, I don't want to say reality, but with the community, and I want that to change. And it's not going to happen immediately, but it's something that I'm really going to vigilantly try to do through a series of small changes. I don't want to change. I don't think it's possible to change these habits that I've instilled in myself overnight, but I'm not the person I want to be. I'm not the man I want to be, I'm not a good friend. I'm not a great content creator, I want to be better at all those things. So this is my vow to you guys, to try my absolute hardest to start being better. I'm not going to change up like dramatically the content on the channel or anything like that, but I want my heart to be in it, and it's not because of the game. It's not one of those things that, no disrespect to anybody here, but I've seen like a lot of YouTube videos throughout the years, right? 8.5 years on YouTube, man. You see a lot of YouTube videos. I've seen a lot of videos with creators saying stuff like, my heart's just not in the game and I'm not going to upload it anymore. And me, it's just like, I'm so old that it's like, dude, I freaking cover a video game for a living. I don't care how much I hate the game. I don't hate Clash Royale, but I'm saying I'm still going to do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel so fortunate just to be in this position. I don't care how much I like or dislike the game or how stale it is or whatever, and maybe that's because I worked 20 years of blue collar jobs, you know what I'm saying? Like out there, physical, like walking in the door. And I know a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about. Walking in the door and feeling like you're just going to pass out, and part of me kind of weirdly misses that feeling. Anyway, I'm going to be better to you guys, showing you some real love. If you're going through something, honestly, sending you like the most positive vibes I possibly can from deep down in my heart. You'll get better. One thing that I have learned in my life is we change a lot as human beings. I look back to where I was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and boy, I barely even recognize that individual, so things can change for the better as well. And a lot of my changes were for the better. I'm not an immature little brat like I may have been at some points in my life, So guys, I guess we'll cap it there. I've gone longer than I intended to anyway on this video. But again, if you're going through something, stick in, hang in there and make small changes. Consider making small changes to your life. Very, very small stuff, and they will add up. You can do this and you can get through this and you're right where you ought to be. So much love, guys. Thank you for watching. And as always, take care, guys.